How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to another Deadline with Dayvy livestream. Don't know what game week we'll be talking about today. It might be the final game week of the 2020/2021 season, game week 38. So thank you very much for joining me on this sunny Sunday afternoon here in SA, wherever you guys are around the world, morning, afternoon, evening. I'm hoping that game week 38 is an absolute banger for us all. And we all end on hopefully a green arrow. Hopefully everyone who joins the stream gets a green arrow. I think that'll be some sort of a record or something. But thanks for joining. Post your questions in chat. Post whatever your thoughts are in chat. Post your feedback in chat. You can kind of ask anything today. It's going to be a very relaxed hour stream. And then I think about that last 20 minutes, 10 minutes is going to be absolutely mental as we look to hopefully get some early team sheet news. The one thing I want to say straight off the bat, please, my suggestion to you on your own FPL squad is probably to just get the moves you're currently thinking of in your mind and only get them to be kind of reinforced by that team sheet news. Don't get into the frenzy in that last 10 minutes where you're stuck making changes, taking hits that are unnecessary, and you haven't assessed the full extent of your own squad. So please just keep that in mind. Don't get swayed by too many fake news. I sound like Donald Trump there, but don't listen to the fake news over on Twitter, because there's going to be a lot of it. It's going to be quite abundant on Twitter today. The main reason for that is that the deadline is now an hour and a half before. So the real team sheet news came out about an hour before. So an hour and a half before is always a little bit of speculation there, unless it is a really confirmed source. So thanks for joining the chat here. I saw a bunch of you guys were in early. Apologies for the extended wait here. I was just organizing some stuff. I don't usually do an hour before the deadline, so I know this is kind of a special stream. Blues FPL saying, "What's up, Davey?" It's Raw saying, "Hey," one of the first people in chat there. Todd saying that I must make my transfer plan quite quickly. So Todd, unfortunately, it's basically the same as the team selection. I've got a couple of changes that I'm making in mind, but I will update you quite quickly on what my kind of thoughts are. I also saw someone say that they've been watching me for 2 years. Thanks for kind of the good videos over those 2 years. So thanks for that. I think it was Marco in South Africa. We say Marco, but it's probably Marco wherever you are from in the world. Also saw that I wanted to kind of update you guys that there has potentially been a leaked Man United lineup. Now this, I am saying leaked because, and I am saying potential because it's not confirmed, but I've seen a lot of sources kind of put this out there. And the starting 11 looks quite amazing. That's all I'm going to say. It's got a lot of young lads. It's got a lot of differential players in there that you guys could take advantage of. But it's basically a completely different starting 11 to what you would expect. It's almost like a pure B squad with the inclusion of someone like a Greenwood and a Henderson. So that's kind of making me worry a little bit about Greenwood. Maybe, maybe not the best option to go for this game week. And kind of the only reason why I'm saying that is that doesn't mean that Greenwood is necessarily a bad option to go for. It's just when he's surrounded by players that might not used to be that aren't really used to the Prem, that surely is going to hinder his output. And that's just kind of my thinking behind it. So I'm almost taking this as a potential Greenwood bench because of just the players that he's surrounded by. And honestly, if you look at any gambling odds, no, I'm not saying that you guys should be gambling. Please don't take that. But if you do look at the odds of this fixture, United are currently second favourites. So they're underdogs for this fixture. And I mean, when would you think that Wolves, how bad they've been this season, versus United would be underdogs? And that just tells me that behind the scenes, the betting people have got some thoughts there about the potential lineup. And that to me tells me there's going to be a lot of rotation. So if you do own those United options, I would probably be looking at taking them out. I'm actually really jealous of you Bruno owners, because you can simply just do Bruno to Mane. I mean, that's just such an obvious transfer in my opinion. If you guys do have Bruno Fernandes, I mean, that's just such a good transfer to do. And unfortunately for my own squad, if I have to bring in Mane, it's going to be for Heung-min Son, and I don't really want to do that. So thanks for all the questions in chat here. Sorry that I've been kind of rambling on a bit. I did say to Todd that I will talk about my transfer plan, so let me just go over that quickly. Obviously, I'm not going to do any transfers right now because there could always be some surprise news. I mean, imagine a Mo Salah's benched, a Sadio Mane's benched. That's going to have to be news that we kind of react on. But currently, my thinking is taking Lucas Digne out, bringing Trent Alexander-Arnold in. Yes, he is heavily owned. Yes, it is a defensive transfer. So I'm pretty sure that you guys are a little bit unhappy there because of kind of doing a defensive transfer on the last game week of a season. I mean, that's quite a boring one usually. But I mean, it is Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is absolutely sensational. And I just have a sneaky suspicion that with this whole rumor about the England squad, he's going to be playing with a massive chip on his shoulder. And I think he's going to do quite well against Crystal Palace. So that's kind of my thinking of the current transfer that I'm doing. And then the second transfer for a -4 hit, I still haven't assessed it that much because I don't know if I'm going to be benching Greenwood or not. That's just kind of my thinking behind it. So Alexander, they're saying, yes, boss, Bruno to Mane. If you guys do own Bruno Fernandes, that's probably the transfer that I would do. I would do Bruno Fernandes to Sadio Mane. That's almost a no-brainer. I don't want to say no-brainer because in FPL, something is never senseless, but that's kind of what I would go for. Ryan Walker saying 1.8k overall. Well done on that amazing rank there, Ryan. What to do? Attack the weak or play safe? So Ryan, just kind of maybe gone to, I think it's FPL.net. They give you kind of a nice assessment of how many points you are off certain milestones. And then look how far you off of the top 10k and look how far you off the 1k, because that's what I would kind of say is because you're in the top 10k now but so close to the 1k, I would almost push for it. And that's just kind of my thinking behind it. But if you are closer to the top 10k, which you probably won't be, then you got to assess it. But it's all to do at this stage of the season. If you're happy with your rank, if you're not happy with your rank, and that's why I can kind of give you an answer both ways. And that's what I'm probably going to be answering a lot of your guys' questions in kind of both ways. So what I would kind of recommend is if you are going to ask a question, give me a little bit of background on where you guys are. If you're happy with your rank, if you're not happy with your rank, and that kind of gives me a little bit of background there, a little bit of context, and I'm not really answering your questions blindly. So I know it's a little bit of extra work there for you guys. I do apologize on that case, but I will be going for it. If invited to the FPL show, face reveal possible. So Pratik, if I am invited to the FPL show, I would 100% do a face reveal, but unfortunately I won't be invited anytime soon. I mean, Andy just went on right now, and I mean, he's probably the biggest YouTuber that there is in FPL. So if he's only getting on now, imagine me. I'm going to be getting on in about 5 seasons time. So Pratik, thanks for the donation, the super chat. But yes, I would. Gary Cooper saying, I'm 21 points clear in my mini league. Only differential he has is Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cresswell, and Mane. Should I get all 3 for a hit to guarantee the win? Do I sell Rudiger, Holding, and Bruno? Thanks for everything. So Gary, because, I wouldn't really recommend this, but because of the players that you've just told me, Rudiger, Holding, and Bruno, I'm perfectly fine with that. Because in my opinion, Bruno won't play. Holding, they're going to concede against Brighton. And Rudiger, I mean, it is against Aston Villa. That's a little bit hit or miss. So in my opinion, that -4 is perfectly fine. And as you mentioned, they're 21 points ahead. So by my calculations, that's a maximum of 12 points of hits. So you should make up that space with that 9 point. Who to triple captain? So if you guys do still have that triple captain, I would simply just put it on Mo Salah. Unless you want to go for someone differential, you really have to make up in those mini leagues, then I would go for either Sadio Mane, Firmino, or I would go for the Leeds options. But it's all just kind of dependent on where you are in the world. But just remember, if Salah bangs and you triple captain him, it's still differential because you're getting an extra set of those captaincy points. Stephen Gallagher saying, hi Dayvy, which 2 of Cresswell, Lowton, and Greenwood? So this is a really tough one, Stephen, so I can understand why you're in a little bit of a dilemma, because I always favor the attacker over the defender. But in this stage of the season and with those fixtures, I would say Cresswell and Lowton, I would favor them a little bit slightly more than Greenwood, but it's a really tough thing to say. On paper, I would say play Lowton and play Greenwood, because I think that West Ham game might not be as I think it's going to be a lot more high scoring than maybe people expect, because I think Southampton are decent going forward, and that's why I don't know how much about I would be confident with that West Ham clean sheet. So on paper, I would say Lowton, Greenwood, but I think from now with this whole team news, if it does get announced that they will be going with the second grade lineup, I think that you can bench Greenwood and maybe get away with it. Pratik, thanks again for the wise words. I do appreciate the support. -4 and goal holding to Dallas, says Alexander. So it's probably a similar situation to what I'm in. But if you do have Lucas Digne and then you're taking him to Trent Alexander-Arnold, that's fine. But if you want to do Holding to Dallas for a -4 because you have to play Holding, I'm also fine. I'm also fine about that kind of move, because in my opinion, Dallas has a good potential to get points, and the only reason why I'm not doing holding to Dallas is because I'm already bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I'm not going to play another defender. You know what I'm saying? Bench one of Son, Torres, or Lingard. So Isaac, that is so tough to kind of talk about, because all three of those options have the potential to get points in my opinion. But I would probably say Torres right now, because we don't know the exact Man City lineup. And I mean, Everton, they're not as shabby of a side as maybe people are expecting, and I do think that they should play quite well. So that's why I kind of think that if Torres starts, he's probably going to come off for Aguero. But if he manages to do well, then I mean, that's fine. So Mozzie saying, leaked Liverpool lineup. Alisson, Milner, Phillips, Williams, Robbo. Okay, so that potentially has Trent benched, but I think it would be quite mental if Trent Alexander-Arnold is benched. So maybe let's get a little bit more news about that. I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of Liverpool sources, as they usually are, before the deadline, and then we can kind of get a good indication if that news is correct. But as I read that lineup, I kind of think that might be a little bit of a bait lineup, in my opinion. That's just kind of my assessment of that whole scenario. Zarif there. So if you look at Zarif's message, so just ignore the spacing. Apologies there, Zarif. You probably copied it from another source, but just excuse the spacing. And that was the current leaked lineup that people have gone with. It's a lot of rotation there. It's a lot of other players to go with. Kind of the only known player there is going to be a Bailly, a Hendo, and a Greenwood. I mean, even Jones is playing. I mean, Phil Jones, when last has he played competitive football? I honestly don't know. I think I might have started FPL before he actually had a good game. So that's what I'm kind of thinking of, that maybe if you have a Wolves attacker, you can simply just play them. Okay, Football Corner Vibes saying, leading my mini league by 15 points. Get Antonio, Rafinha, and Robertson for DCL, Jota, and Lucas Digne from -4, or play Digne and Strick. Got Alioski already. I would do that -4 hit because you're already leading your mini league, and the players that you're bringing in my opinion, have a good potential. So that's what I would do. Light Ray saying Phil Jones lost. So, I mean, that kind of tells you what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is telling you about this fixture. If he's playing a Phil Jones, I mean, I think Phil Jones has been in the dungeon at Man United's training ground for quite a while. Hashem saying Bruno will play or not. So the thing about United, let me give you some context about Man United and what's happening with their whole decision on kind of their fixtures. So they play the Europa League final. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is Wednesday evening. So if they are playing on Wednesday evening, it doesn't really make sense for them to risk players in a fixture that doesn't matter. United have second place. They're facing Wolves, who are not relegated. They're not going to care too much about this fixture. They are at home, so maybe that gives them a little bit of motivation. But United don't care about this fixture, and that's why Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, will be benched. And that's why we've seen these lineups. I mean, the lineups have come out, and you think to yourself, this actually makes sense. And in my opinion, that usually tells me that there's something behind it. So that's why I think that Bruno will probably be benched for this fixture. So if you guys do own him, it gives you a nice option to basically go for whatever you want. Nick Toll saying 3 points off top 5k overall. Triple captain Dallas. Because you 3 points off the top 5k, I would just triple captain Salah. Because just think of it, if Salah gets 10 points, everyone's captain him. But because you've triple captain him, you get an extra 10 points. So that'll make up those 3 points anyway. So Nick Toll, I would just use the triple captain on someone safe. Antonio or Dallas in. So in my opinion, I was really tempted to bring Dallas in. And the only reason for this is that with Dallas, you're getting an out-of-position player. Sorry there, guys. You're getting an out-of-position player, but then he also has that clean sheet threat. And I mean, against a West Brom side where they have been quite attacking, I think that Mateus Pereira looks really good, but Leeds still do have a chance of keeping a clean sheet in this one. And that's why I think that Dallas slightly favors it for me, but then Southampton are also pretty useless. So it all depends on your current team. I mean, if you have good defenders, just maybe don't go for Dallas, maybe go for an Antonio. But if your defenders right now are looking a little bit shaky, you have someone like a Holding it at the back, then I think that Dallas looks like a perfect kind of replacement for that. Okay, James saying 12 points behind the leader. Thinking of taking out Jota and Bruno for Mane and a City mid and bench Lingard. This is a -4. Please help. So, James, the only thing I would do is I would play Lingard. I would just do the Bruno to Mane move. Hopefully you can afford that. I think that should be perfectly fine. I don't think I'll be taking that -4 hit because you're going to bench Lingard anyways. And I mean, Lingard has a good potential for some points. Igor saying, hi Davey, thanks for all the tips this season. Appreciate it, Igor, brother. Thank you for the kind words. I always do appreciate the support you guys have. German42 saying, Mateus Pereira has got a knock. Okay, so that's some interesting news there. I didn't really see that. So let me just go check here West Brom. Because, I mean, if that's true, I think that going for someone... Okay, so he does have a knock, which is quite insane. So that could actually make me get Dallas in. I'm not going to lie, because of that knock. Karen with 11 euros saying with a thank you sticker. So that's actually the first time I've seen that you can donate a sticker. So appreciate it, Karen. Thank you for all the support throughout the season. I really do appreciate it. And thank you, as I said, for all the support and the super chat. That's made my stream so far. So I do appreciate it, Karen. Thanks again. Nick Toll saying best goalkeeper under 6 mil, not Leeds. Is Allison under 6 mil? Because I mean, it's a boring one, but that could be someone that you go for. So Allison is exactly 6 mil. So if you don't have a Liverpool triple up, go for him. But otherwise, I think that it's a really tough one because I don't see many clean sheets this kind of game week. I mean, going for Pope would be quite good, but we don't know about him. Maybe if we get a Burnley kind of news, you could look at him. But I think that maybe just go for a Mendy or something. I think, or go for the Newcastle goalkeeper. That should be fine. In terms of goalkeepers, I mean, I think they're going to be really lowly owned, kind of. It's going to be a low ceiling for them. So I also saw that we had a super chat from Arjun saying, is Salah worth the -4 for captaincy? If so, whom to transfer? Okay, so 100%, if you're happy with your rank, Arjun, do the -4 and captain Salah, and then I would take out Bruno Fernandes for him because that's just the no-brainer, kind of, in my opinion. Red Devil saying, Captain Bamford, Dayvy, exclamation mark, question mark. So Captain Bamford, it all depends if you need to go differential. If you need to go differential, if you don't have Sadio Mane, I think Sadio Mane would be my second best captain, first best captain if you want to go differential. But then I think Bamford is probably a close second in that case. So that's perfectly fine. Jarlil saying, how about Chilwell for a defender? So Chilwell's fine if you have to play him. I just think that Chelsea have to win this fixture. They do have a chance of getting a clean sheet. So I think that's perfectly fine to keep him. But if you're talking about transferring in, I don't think I'd be transferring in a Chelsea defender, if you know what I'm saying. Keep Lowton or sell to Dallas for a hit. Night's watch. I personally favor Lowton because I think that he has a chance of getting a clean sheet. If it was for a defender that I don't think would keep a clean sheet, then I think that -4 hit should be fine. Gareth P saying, the guy ahead of me by 17 points already has Greenwood. So I have swapped Bruno for Greenwood. Can't afford to not put him in really in case he bangs today. Okay, so Gareth, if you didn't make that move, I probably would have suggested to do someone differential because you are chasing someone ahead of you. So by you bringing in the same player that he has, and Greenwood might not bang anyways, you're kind of negating the chance to really chase, if you know what I'm saying. That's just kind of my opinion. Iheanacho or Torres, MD, I would go with Iheanacho because even if Torres starts, then he could be taken off quite early on. That's what I'm kind of thinking. A lot of people are actually asking here about kind of going for some Man City options. So as Todd is asking here, Aguero, I personally think I wouldn't go for Aguero unless you really have to take a punt. I wouldn't go for Man City options unless you have to take a punt because although they might start and they have a high ceiling, they could always be taken off early. There's going to be a lot of rotation, I think, especially if Aguero doesn't start. That's basically a substitute that's going to happen because they want to give him a good clap from the fans and everything. So I think unless you need to go differential, you can look at the Man City options. But what I would kind of recommend then is wait as long as possible because Pep Roulette is already bad with early team news, so give yourself as much time as possible to hopefully absorb some early team news, and hopefully we do get it. What about a punt on Havertz as a differential captain, says Chris France. I'm fine with that, but the thing I want to kind of allude to is that Aston Villa weren't that bad against Spurs. I know that Spurs were trash attackingly and defensively, but the thing about it is that I think that Aston Villa will still put up a good fight. And you must also remember that it is a home game for them. So I think it's going to be a tough game for Chelsea, and that's why I think it's going to be quite a close one. So that's what I'm kind of thinking about. There's a lot of options this week besides Chelsea that I would take a punt on rather. Like a Leeds asset or someone like that. I think those players will be differential enough for you instead of going for someone like a Havertz. RNRRR says, I'm 8 points behind the top 1K. What differential to go for? Easiest option is a Sadio Mane or Roberto Firmino. Or just bring in whatever Leeds assets you want to. But the Leeds assets, they're a little bit annoying because they're all basically 40% owned, which is to take a punt on them besides Harrison. Obviously, Harrison is one that you guys can take a punt on because I think he max will be owned by about 10%. So that is a punt to go for, but I think Mane or Firmino has to be where it's at. Greenwood or Son, I would go with Son. I just think that, as I mentioned in the team selection, there's kind of, on my left hand here, I think that game is going to be super tight because Leeds have to keep a clean sheet if they want to win the fixture. But then also, they have to score so many goals to get that goal difference that they have to attack as well. And I mean, we've seen what's happened with a Spurs side that loves the counter-attack this season, and that's why I want to go for it. Nirj saying, why don't you read my chats, Dayvy? It's so frustrating. I apologize. I can't just get to every question as possible. But what I suggest to you is I don't really want you to do this, but just keep on posting the comment and I'll try and get to as many as possible. But I promise you that it's not something that I kind of don't like any of you guys. So that's why I don't answer your questions. The chat goes pretty quickly. And I honestly try to get as many questions done as possible. Asjar with another super chat saying, how's it, Dayvy? 12 points behind my league. Start Digne or Cody this week. 12 points behind in my mini league. Want to bring in Antonio and captain him. Good idea. So if you 12 points behind in your mini league, that is quite a sufficient amount. What I would do is I would look at your own squad versus your leader and see how many players you have difference. Because just think of it, if you have Salah and that's the only player that's similar, your other players around him could make up those points. But if you own the majority of the team that your leader does have, then you unfortunately have to use the captaincy as differential. So that's my kind of recommendation to you. But I would personally be more comfortable starting Cody now than Lucas Digne, just because of that rotation that United should have. Nafis saying, hi Dayvy, I'm currently at 133k. To get into the top 100k, is a -8 worth it for bringing in Mane and Rafinha? I think if you that far off, because you are about 33k places there, so that is going to be quite a sufficient amount of points. So I would personally think a -8 hit would have to be where it's at. But it also depends on what players you're taking out, because it's not worth it if you're taking out a Son, in my opinion, because Son still could do well. Nick Toll saying, are you scared with only one Leeds player? So maybe, I don't know if could you read it through my voice, but yes, I am scared of owning only one Leeds player, because I think that game is going to be absolutely mental. If you are a Leeds fan, I'm sure there might be some of you around here in the chat. I think that game is going to be great. So I think you guys can be looking forward to that one, and I think that should be quite good. Harshem saying, thanks, Dave, for all the season advice. Pleasure. It's been a pleasure for that. Best replacement for Bruno, Mane or Firmino. So 100% Mane, because it's just kind of a simple swap. You take out Bruno, put in Sadio Mane. That should be quite good. James saying, thanks so much for answering my question, but I have Salah and Trent. So to get Mane, I have to take out Bruno and Jota to get Mane. I feel like I need Mane, or do I just go City mid? I would do the Bruno and Jota move out, and I'd bring in Mane and then whatever Leeds midfielder you don't own. Minthu, apologies if I am butchering that name, says, thanks for everything, Dayvy. See you next season, brother. Thanks, brother. I do appreciate the super chat. Not even a question there, just a thanks. So I do appreciate that super chat. And hopefully the season has been good for you and you've learned loads. And I can't wait to make videos for next season as well for you guys. Hi, Dayvy. 4.8 million in the bank. Currently leading my mini league. Any tips? You can kind of shift that wherever you want to. I mean, if you're leading your mini league by quite a large margin, you can have some fun with it. Bring in a player that you think will do well. You can even bring in an Aguero just to take a little bit of a punt. It's so nice at this stage of the season if you guys are leading your mini leagues and you can just kind of fool around and just have some fun with it. Start Greenwood or Dawson says, I always favor the attacker in this situation, and especially because I think that Southampton have a good potential to score on that one. So I would probably say start Greenwood in that case. I'm not really that fond of the West Ham defense this week. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that Southampton, like a Danny Ings, could do well. Mecca with the super chat saying, hi, Davey. You've listed your team here, and you're saying 2 free transfers, 3.5 in the bank. So right off the bat, I think that you should take out DCL. I would bring in someone like a Bamford. And then I would upgrade one of your defenders with that extra money to the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's what I would do. And then I would play Mendy instead of Forster. So you should have enough money to do that, Mecca. Would you recommend Greenwood for Son plus... would you recommend benching Greenwood for Son plus Willock? I don't know, David. That's a tough one. I don't know. Obviously, Willock's in amazing form, so I guess you kind of have to play with him. What I would say is right now, if we currently don't get any news and we have to go off this whole Greenwood news, I would be fine benching him. That's just my opinion on it. And I think that with the form that Willock is in, you simply just have to play him. Thanks, Stephen, for the super chat here saying, what's happened with Bruno? Why is everyone taking him out? So the reason everyone's taking him out is that he could potentially be benched. And that's just the fact, Stephen. Apparently United, it's rumored that they're going to have a really weak lineup. And you can understand why. I mean, they're playing the Europa League fixture on Wednesday. Don't want to risk any of their options to get injured. And that's why people are taking Bruno out, because there is a good chance that he won't start. But thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. And then Partik saying, your prediction for the league's positions 3 to 7. So what I'll do is I'll go over to the Premier League here, and I'll just do it quickly for you. So obviously as a Liverpool fan, I'm kind of hoping that they do quite well. I'm pretty sure you guys can see this. So this is the league table. So I think that, look, Chelsea have to win. I think they will. And I think that Liverpool will win as well. So I think that it's going to be Chelsea here, Liverpool here. Leicester should be fine. Then West Ham should win against Southampton, and I think that Spurs should hold that position, though. I don't know, though, because, I think that Arsenal have a good chance. I think that Spurs might drop out of the 7th place, and then maybe Arsenal or maybe even a Leeds side overtake them if they get some goal difference or something. But I think probably the majority of what you want to hear is the top 4, and I think that should be Liverpool and Chelsea. Vincent saying, what should I do if I still hold Bale? Worth a hit to transfer him out? If no league team news, 9.8 best replacement, Torres or Pepe. I would probably just play Bale because I think that he will start. I don't know, it's a tough situation, but if you think he's going to start and Leicester are going to be attacking, I think that Bale's probably the best player to own from Spurs, because just on that break, he is just so crazy. No worries, David. Thanks for dropping by. I saw Jason here. Jason, how do I win my mini league in the last game week if I'm 20 points behind? So Jason, there's a little button. If you go to settings, it's called delete squad. You just delete your club, and then you just either rejoin or you kick everyone from your mini league. If you are the admin, what's holding you back from just deleting everyone else from your mini league and winning it? I mean, that's just the perfect scenario to do. So if that doesn't work, just delete your club. Mane captain differential to get points, or go Salah? So you kind of answered your question here yourself. You've said Mane captain for differential or Salah. It all depends on your own squad. And unfortunately, maybe if you gave me some context on what you want to achieve, I could answer that question. But if you want to go differential, go Sadio Mane. If you want to be safe, go Mo Salah. It kind of all depends. But I would kind of recommend that I would only not go Salah if you want to be mega differential. Because I mean, just think about Salah. If he manages to score, there's going to be an absolute carnage if you guys don't captain him. Wood or Bamford, and Harrison or Rafinha. So Harrison, Rafinha, that situation's easy because it all comes down to differential aspects. Because Harrison is lowly owned versus Rafinha, but in my opinion, Rafinha is a better player. So I would go with Harrison only if you want to go differential. And Wood or Bamford, it's a similar situation there, but Wood is super lowly owned where Bamford's like marginally owned. But I still think that I would rather go Bamford over Wood. So in my opinion, I would go Bamford. That's just a pure opinion. But Harrison, Rafinha is a little bit tougher. That's why I would go, if you need to go differential, go Harrison, or if you find Aubameyang worth the punt. So the interesting thing about Arsenal, and I'm pretty sure Arsenal fans will back this up, is that they've actually picked up a lot of good form recently. But I don't exactly know if Aubameyang's been playing every single minute. I think they've got some rotation up front. But I personally don't think it's worth the punt because Brighton are usually quite solid defensively. I think there's other punts to take on. If you can afford Aubameyang, you can afford a Sadio Mane. I think that he's a better shout to go for. Play Bale or Greenwood. In that case, I think you have to go with Greenwood. As Joe's saying, Aubameyang has been poor. And that's kind of what I grasped because I remember there was a lineup that he wasn't included in. Saka or Willock better? I would go with Willock in that case, Mohammed. Mohammed, thanks for being a member. I don't know if you're a new member or not, but I do appreciate the support, brother. But I would go with Willock rather. Will Smith Rowe start or should I transfer for Torres? Ryan, I would be tempted if Torres is rumored to start. I would be tempted to do that move anyway. Evan Smith saying, hey Davey, Bruno and Jota out for Mane and Mount -4 hit. I would go with Mane, and unless you have a Leeds triple up, I would instead go for that. But I mean, if you already have Leeds a triple up, then I think Mount's perfectly fine. But I am in favor of that Bruno to Mane move. Nenad saying Manchester United league lineup plausible. So in my opinion, it's plausible. And that's just because if you told me that United are going to be playing on Wednesday evening in that final, I would have told you straight that Ollie's not going to risk players that could potentially get injured in a game that doesn't matter. So that's why whenever there is a league lineup and you think it's plausible, I usually take it as fact. That didn't work last week. I don't know if you guys remember, but they said Greenwood was going to be benched. Practically was benched because he only got 2 points. But you always just have to keep in the back of your mind that this news might be false. And if it is false, am I going to be angry? Am I going to be disappointed if the player is actually going to start? And that's just the kind of thinking you have to do. Mecca saying Phillips, Jota, Salah. Should I get Trent for Phillips? Trent for Phillips is a little bit of a sideways move. I would probably take Jota out before I take Phillips out, Mecca. Vincent, you missed my question. Any electricity outages? So Vincent, now I don't know if your question was any electricity outages or if it was something else. So just post it in chat again, please, Vincent. Sufal or Phillips? It depends. If you have another Liverpool defender, I'd probably play Phillips just to kind of play the odds there. But if you don't, I mean, Sufal's probably has a better attacking threat. George saying, hi Davey, 9 points ahead in my mini league. Bring in Bamford for DCL and or Bruno out for Willock to match second place. In that case, you can do that. If you want to match your opponent, that's a perfectly viable strategy, and you can take hits in that case, just as long as the hit doesn't overtake your points lead. Andy Ramskill saying, hey Davey, Bruno to Mane or Digne to Robertson. Free, Digne to Robertson and any mid, or Digne to Cresswell and Bruno to Mane. I would do Bruno to Mane and Digne to Robertson. That looks perfectly fine. If you're asking which one to do, I would do first Bruno to Mane if you only want to make one free transfer. Yash is saying here, Pickford or Forster. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Sufal, Dallas, Wan-Bissaka, Rudiger, which three? Mane and Foden for Jota and Son for -4, 3 points to cover my mini league in top 10k. Mane and Foden, if Foden does start, I think that move looks fine to do for a -4. And then between Forster and Pickford, if you have Leeds attackers, play Pickford. If you have Man City attackers, then play Forster. But I'm pretty sure, Yash, that you won't have Man City attackers. So in that case, play Pickford rather. And then in terms of TAA, Sufal, Dallas, Wan-Bissaka, Rudiger, which three? Wan-Bissaka won't play. And then I would play Trent Alexander-Arnold, Sufal, and Dallas. So bench Wan-Bissaka and Rudiger. Also, Twisted here saying, how's it, Davey? Start Lucas Digne, Holding, or Cody? In this situation, I would probably play Connor Cody. I know it's really weird. I mean, if you told me this a week ago, I would have said that you're absolutely mental that I would be suggesting starting Connor Cody. But if that United lineup is true, I think there's a heavy chance that they're not going to be that strong. And that's just unfortunately what it is. Igor saying, thanks for the tips. Greenwood or DCL to put in the first 11? I think I would put in Greenwood. Zarif saying, I want to transfer in Jones, but he's not on FPL for some reason. So as far as I know, he now is in FPL. I think they added him last night or something. So I thought they added him. Or was it another player? Okay, maybe it was a different player that they added. But as far as I know, they added a player last night that was called Jones that is now 3.5 million. So, I mean, maybe it wasn't Phil Jones in that case, but I mean, that is true. But Zarif, what you should do is you should message FPL right now and say, I wanted to bring in Phil Jones, but I couldn't. And then if he bangs, maybe they'll give you the points or something. They probably won't, because I don't think they do that often. The HG saying, hello guys, how's it, the HG? Thanks for dropping by and joining this final deadline stream. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. A like is always appreciated if you guys are enjoying it. Sorry for the self-promotion there, but I just wanted to squeeze that one in. Light Rays saying 25 minutes to go. Any solid leaked news? So as far as I know, there hasn't been any leaked news, but I will kind of update you. I will probably scan Twitter every now and again, but as I usually say, it's a little bit hard because I don't like leaving you guys with silence for too long while I check my phone for Twitter. So if you guys do know anything about potential news, you can always put it in chat, but just maybe link the source that it's from. Noah's Yash, thanks brother. Hopefully you get a green arrow this week and do well in your mini leagues and getting to that overall rank that you want to. Someone's saying here that will Forster play? Forster will play. So you guys don't have to worry about Forster playing. That's just like simple. He's on the matchday program now. He was benched the last 2 games, so he has to play the final game, in my opinion. DS saying, what's your potential transfers, my boy? So the transfers this week, what I'm probably going to be doing is taking Lucas Digne out and bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then I just want to get some more team news because then I might take another -4 hit. And then I would probably take out Calvert-Lewin and I would bring in Bamford. Forster or Leno, I would go with Leno on paper because I think that West Ham will score. Who to triple captain? Just keep it simple. Go with the Mo Salah unless you have to be mega differential. Alisson and Son or Forster and Mane. Forster and Mane because I think that the most that Alisson will do in this game is get 6 points. I'm on the top of a head-to-head league. My opponent got Iheanacho / Rafinha and Watkins. Set with a template. Should I go differential with a -12? Rafinha, Antonio, Mane captain. If you're chasing your mini league and you're 25 points ahead, Domenico, I would go with that. Pereira to start or not? Pranav. So actually that reminds me now that there is a potential that Matias Pereira won't start, that I'm actually looking at taking Dallas in. That could be the -4 hit that I do. Now I'll be quite happy with that one. FPL Invincible saying -4 hit for sure to Robertson or play Lucas Digne. I think I would take the -4 hit if you have to play Lucas Digne. I mean, I know that he does have the potential for an attacking threat, but I just think that there's such a slim chance that Man City don't score at home in this fixture that I think that a -4 hit is perfectly fine. Tristan saying, how's it, Dayvy? 16 points behind in my mini league. I want to take Son / Greenwood out for Mane, but you seem to fancy Son. It looks like he needs a vacation. So, like Tristan, if you think that Son hasn't looked great, which I can understand, and you want to go for a Mane, and you want to captain Mane. If you want to captain Mane, I can perfectly understand why you want to take Son out. That would be fine with. But just remember that there is still a potential that Son does well, but I can kind of understand what you're saying, that I think that kind of going for Mane at this stage of the season, if you are chasing, could be quite sensible. We have a super chat as well here saying, play Shaw with Holding as backup or make a defender transfer or move Fernandes to Mane. I would move Fernandes to Mane because I think that has the highest potential for points. I'm trying to maintain a 48-point lead. You don't have to protect anything. 48 points is absolutely mental. You just kind of have to hope that the second place guy doesn't captain someone differential and they bang. But I'm pretty sure that's locked in right now. You don't have to go differential at all. But I would probably do that Fernandes to Mane move though, because I think that has the highest upside. One transfer. What should I do? Bring in Mane, Robertson, or Dallas, says Mohammed. So this is a super tough one because all of those players have potential to score. I would probably favor Dallas over Robertson, and then I would probably favor Mane out of all of those other players. I don't know, I just think that Mane can do well this week. I know that he's been off form, but I mean, I still think he has the potential to do well. Who to play, Stones or DCL? I would probably play Stones in that case. I mean, I think that Everton could score, but Man City, when they have played full strength in terms of the defense, they've looked quite good. What do you think about Son to Mane with one free transfer, Blues? So the thing is, I could do that move and I'm not doing it because I don't think unless you have to go differential, it's worth it. That's just my opinion. Dan Mooney saying, help, I'm 8 points ahead of my mini league and thinking of Dyer and Jota out for -4 to bring in Harrison and Dallas, or Mane and Harrison in for Bruno and Jota. I would do Bruno out and go for Mane Harrison. Owen saying, you think Greenwood starts? I think Greenwood will start. G-Ball saying, hi, Davey, sorry for being late. No problems there, brother. I mean, we can all be late in at least one deadline stream this season, so that's perfectly fine. Transfers done. No transfers have been done yet. So far, I'm leaning towards 100% I'll do Trent in for Digne, but now I'm looking at potentially Cody out for Dallas and then benching Greenwood. Son for Mane -4 or not Harrison or Rafinha. So I think I'll reinstate this again, but unless I have to be differential, I would take Son out because I still think that Son has the potential to get points. Should I play Cody or Target? I would play Cody football mixes. I wouldn't be that against starting Cody because of just that United lineup not looking that strong. But Greenwood will start, so I think that lineup is pretty sensible. 4 points ahead of the league, have Bruno but no budget to bring Mane. What should I do? Take out Bruno and bring in a Leeds option. Harrison, Rafinha, either of those two you don't own. Can you advise any goalkeeper less than 4.7? My only transfer. So Mohammed, if you don't have a Leeds triple up, go for a Casillas, I think. Do you think it's worth captaining Mane or Aubameyang to catch up 33 points? A Night's Watch, 33 points is quite substantial, so I would captain Mane in your situation. I think 15 points is probably the cutoff to not captain Salah. I think that's fine, but 33 points is quite a lot. So I think in that case, I think go for a Sadio Mane. I mean, you could even stretch it to maybe 20 points, but I think it's a bit tough. Shane saying you never walk alone, just trying to get into the top 50k. Similar situation there, brother. I'm also trying to get into the top 50k. Should I do Bruno plus Watkins to Mane plus Barnes or Torres plus Aguero? Are you talking about Ashley Barnes or are you talking about Bamps? I would do Mane Bamford 100%. That's literally what I would do. That looks like a much better option. Lastly, choose one to bench from Lingard, Nacho, Rafinha, and James Ward-Prowse. Probably James Ward-Prowse in that case. Owen saying, Dayvy, should I go Mane plus Antonio and Kane and Greenwood out for -4? No, I think that Kane is still good this week, unless you want to go differential, because if you want to be differential, then do that. But I think that if you are comfortable with your rank, keep Kane, and I would just do Greenwood to Harrison or Rafinha. That should probably do quite good. Who to buy between Rafinha and Harrison? Harrison, differential. Rafinha, if you're comfortable. That's basically what it comes down to. And unfortunately, I can't really answer that for you. You have to kind of look at your own squad. Bruno and DCL to Mane and Bamford for a hit. I like that move. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty comfortable with taking Bruno out after this news that he won't start. Usama saying, hey Davey, I'm leading my league by 28 points. What do you say? Greenwood out and Willock in, or should I just do DCL out and Wood in? I would probably do DCL and Wood in. I really actually like Chris Wood this week. I think that he's a little bit under the radar right now. Vincent saying, got a mini league to chase, 15 points. Vincent, of course, you chasing your mini league and not winning it. Ariola or Martinez? I think Ariola's injured, but I would probably play Ariola and just hope that he plays. Rafinha, Harrison, if you're chasing, go for Harrison because chances are your mini league rivals have Rafinha anyways. Will Meslier or Casillas start for Leeds? Mark, so apparently, don't quote me on this, but apparently the Leeds manager said that Casillas will play the last 2 games. So I'm pretty sure that he will play instead of Meslier. Replacement for Shaw, I have Dallas. If you can afford Robertson or you can afford going for Trent, that would probably be what I would look at. But otherwise, I think go for like maybe a Burnley defender or something like that. I know it's super boring, but I mean, they do probably have the best fixture against Sheffield United from a defensive point of view. Who do you think starts for Man City, Torres or Foden? I think both will. Owen, if I had to kind of predict, I would say Foden starts. Mahrez probably starts. They might bring Aguero off the bench a little bit later on. Bruno out. Whom to bring in? Mane or Rafinha? Already have Salah and Bamford. I would go with Mane. I just think that Mane is a good punt this week. Should I keep Fernandes or take a -4 for Mane? I don't want to kind of put you guys in a corner here, but I think that the news is substantial about Bruno being potentially benched. So I think that move is worth a -4. Bruno to Mane and Jota to Rafinha. Yash, 100%. That looks pretty good. Thoughts on Mahrez? Look, I like any kind of City midfielder or attacker that starts, but you have to get news that they will start, and that's the kind of caveat with these with these City options, is that you have to get news that they start. I'm kind of checking if there's any news here as possible, but as far as I know, there's not much that there's been here. So, like, out of the sources that kind of said that they would bring news, there hasn't been many news that's been posted, unfortunately. So I think what I'm probably going to be doing is I'm going to be taking that transfer that we're going to be doing with Lucas Digne out, and then I'm going to be bringing in someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then this -4 hit to something that's kind of racking my brain. So BH Club saying Rashford starts. So if Rashford starts, that kind of takes that news completely out about if the lineup's actually going to be quite bad. Nofu saying, my colleague leads with 1 point, has Rafinha. Do I bring in Harrison or Rafinha? So Nofu, what you got to look at is the rest of your team. If you have players that are different than him in that squad, or her, apologies, him or her, then just bring in Rafinha, because although Harrison is differential, if you only have to make up 1 point, maybe one of your other options could make up the point. Gareth Bale, OMG, says Vincent. So does that mean that Gareth Bale starts, or are you just kind of shouting out here? Best mid under 6.5 Harrison. I already have Rafinha. Chris, 100%. I would look at Leeds assets definitely this week. And if you have a double up already with Rafinha and Bamford, I wouldn't be scared about bringing in going for Harrison anyways. Sanjay saying, I'm top of a head-to-head lead. So I think I already answered this question. Maybe I didn't. Head-to-head league, my opponent's got Iheanacho, Watkins. Should I bring in Nacho and Rafinha for Watkins and Siggy? So yes, kind of nullify the chance for your other player to get at differentials. Ahmed saying, DCL replacements, please. So there's a lot of replacements to go for. There's Bamford, Antonio, Wood. You can go for Firmino. There's lots of options I would look at, but probably Firmino and Bamford is where I would look. Owen saying, we need team news, bro. I'm sorry, Owen. Like, I'm trying to get team news for you, but I'm not one of those guys that leaks it. I'm kind of one of those that gets the leaked. So there's been a lot of leaked news about like a potential Liverpool lineup and whatever, but I wouldn't look to it too much. So there's the Cap HQ, which is kind of going for the Cop HQ. So don't listen to them. Okay, so today that lineup for Man United looks pretty nailed. So I would be pretty confident in that lineup. And I think in terms of that, well, like kind of what I've seen is I'm probably going to be fine with benching Greenwood. I don't know why. I just feel like this week, I mean, if he bangs, fair play, but I just think that game's going to be quite tough for United if they have such a low standard of players. And it's probably going to come back to bite me now that I've said that. But I just think that in terms of the United news, I would take that pretty confirmed. So if you are a Bruno owner, if you are a Greenwood owner, Greenwood starts, Bruno's out. If you are basically a defensive owner of them, your players probably aren't going to be playing. Play Watkins or Ward-Prowse, Forster or Pickford. So it's a similar situation. Forster or Pickford. If you own West Ham assets, play Pickford. If you own Man City assets, play Forster. And between Watkins and Ward-Prowse, I would probably lean towards Ward-Prowse. I don't know why. I just think that maybe they have a better chance of scoring than Chelsea do, or than Aston Villa do. Foden could be a good option if he starts, but unfortunately we don't have anything to go by. So the thing about that, I saw someone leak that Liverpool news. So the Liverpool news isn't true about Trent Mane being benched. So please don't listen to that one. So Erwin saying Greenwood will start. I think that lineup, that leaked United lineup, has been too spread to kind of not be true. And that's just kind of my take on it. Whereas the Liverpool lineup was published by a fake account that everyone kind of knows is fake. So please don't take that as truthful. Son to Mane / DCL to Firmino to be captaincy for differential. What do you think? I think do DCL to Firmino rather if you want to go differential. The Liverpool news was FPL Bruno trolling, so that might be true on that case. Bruno does love a little bit of a troll on kind of that news. And Light Ray says Liverpool will be full strength. Exactly, that Liverpool lineup is probably going to be the most full strength squad that they go. G-Boss saying check the chat. I will. Okay, Bruno to Mane or DCL to Firmino. Bruno to Mane because DCL will still play. So if you have to kind of get him off the bench, G-Ball, you still do have that chance of him starting. Who to bring in? Aubameyang, Mahrez, or Mount? There's a lot of price difference there, Robert. So if you already have Mane, because I think Aubameyang and Mane should be quite similar in price, but I think that Mount is probably your safest option out of those. Digne to Trent or DCL to Bamford. So that's pretty similar situation to what I've been in. I just think that there's, for some reason, I've got a gut feeling that Trent's going to do well this week, and that's why I'm going for him rather. But I think that you can't go wrong doing DCL to Bamford. Like, surely Bamford gets something this week. Tyron Swart saying, how's it, Dayvy? Thanks for all the tips this season, bro. So I appreciate it, Tyron. Thanks for always stopping by. I recognize your name in the chat quite often, so thanks for always the continued support. Adam FPL saying, similar rank. Would you captain Mane? Adam, because you have a similar rank, it kind of depends where your ambitions are. If you're a little bit more ambitious than me and you're kind of still pushing for a higher rank, I'm pretty much just trying to get into that top 50k. So I'm pretty comfortable starting Salah because I think that he's the best option this week. Do you think that Rashford will start? I don't, because I kind of believe that leaked lineup that we've got. So that's why I think that Rashford won't. Mahrez for Greenwood, good option. Current rank is 40k. Thanks for all the entertainment. Thanks for the support, Akash. In terms of kind of if you offer 400k, you probably want to boost that rank a little bit more. So I think that you could actually, I would probably just start Greenwood in that case. He's going to be a differential in the first place. So I mean, if he manages to do well, he could. Kevin Mann saying 10 minutes, making us wait till the end. So I won't make you wait till the end. I'll probably do it with 5 minutes to go. I just want to make sure that we don't get any news, because I know I've said I haven't believed the news about Mane and Trent, but I mean, maybe there is some truth to it. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. The Asian Gamer saying, thanks for everything you've done this season. Hope you have a good break over the summer. Thanks to Asian Gamer. I do appreciate the support. And I will try and enjoy the break. Am I going to be doing Euro Fantasy? We don't know yet. Mark Goldbridge said the leaked lineup is wrong. Okay, so let me go and check this, because that could put a little bit of a spanner in the works here. Apparently this might not be the team now. Okay, so that is gonna be pretty shocking. What the flip? Okay, so if this United lineup isn't true, it's gonna be absolute scenes. That is terrible then. But if that United lineup isn't true, I mean, then Greenwood might not even play. So what I would do now is, if we don't get any more news, probably just play whoever you have. But I still would be tempted by Bruno to Mane. I mean, that's just kind of such a good move in my opinion. Okay, so with 5 minutes to go, I don't think we're going to get any more news, so then I'll do my transfers just so that we don't get like a complete scenes here and you guys don't get anything. Hi, Dayvy. Antonio or Firmino for DCL. Also start Mahrez or Greenwood. Tied for my mini league. So if you're tied for your mini league, Jordan, you got to look at your other opponent. If you want to go differential, if you want to go insert word to the wall, then go for Firmino, but I think Antonio is still good. And in terms of Mahrez, Greenwood, start the player that he owns if you want to be safe. That's what I would recommend. Harjot Singh saying, leading my mini league by 20 points. Should I do DCL or Jota to Bamford or Harrison for a -4 to cover Leeds threat? If you want to cover Leeds threat, go with Bamford because he's more owned than Harrison is. Mate, I'm second, 14 points behind with triple captain. Bruno and DCL out for Mane and Antonio. Just give me a few seconds there. But if you have your triple captain, I wouldn't be too worried about that. I would just triple captain. I would triple captain Salah. That's like a lot of people seem to still have their triple captain, so I would still go with that. Greenwood to Mahrez or DCL to Antonio. DCL to Antonio. Any news on Greenwood starting? Let me just refresh the timeline again, and I will go for it. Apologies for hitting the mic there. But like so far, I mean, I don't think you're going to get more team news. I would kind of go for that United lineup that was leaked because I think that one makes the most sense. Even if it isn't as drastic as maybe playing all the reserve options, I still think that there's a good chance that a Bruno, a Cavani, those type of players will be benched, a Rashford, because it's no point of keeping them because they're not going to be starting. Devin Little said, Dayvy, my boy, start Greenwood or Smith Rowe. I would go with Greenwood. I just think that there's the better chance for points there. Hey, Dayvy, mate, whom to start? DCL, El Ghazi, or Castagne? If you own Spurs assets, definitely not Castagne. But between DCL and El Ghazi, it's quite tough. I would be tempted maybe to go DCL because you probably don't own a Man City defender. Douglas saying Bruno not starting from early team news. As far as the early team news has gone, that's basically been what we've had. Light Ray says 5 minutes to go, so we will be doing that one transfer right now. Oh, flip! I've just spilt on my desk. Okay, Aladap was saying any news? Phillips for Feltman or Bruno for Mane? I would do the Bruno for Mane move. Although we haven't got like kind of confirmed news about the potential of maybe a Bruno not starting, I still think that I would have faith in going for that Mane move. I just don't know why. So we're going for Trent for Lucas Digne, and I'm going to lock in that move right now. So that's going to be confirmed. I'm going to chop him out for holding here. Save the team. And then the -4, I'm still tempted by. But now I don't know if I should be doing that -4. Start Greenwood or Sigurdsson. I would go with Greenwood Owen in that case. I would be perfectly fine. Jorian Law saying spillage but exactly I have. So I'll just, it's just luckily it's just Coke, so I can I'll down this Coca-Cola after the stream. Will Pereira play? So as far as I know, he's currently had a knock, but I don't know if he's going to be starting or not. That just seems to be it. But I think that I'm going to be doing that Dallas move and then taking out Greenwood and just benching Greenwood because, I mean, it's game week 38. We got to kind of take a little bit of a punch here, and I want to kind of nullify that Leeds team a little bit because I think it's going to be an absolutely mental game. So let me just do a quick refresh of the Twitter feed here, and then we can kind of assess it as we go along. But as far as I can see, there's for all the hype that's been brought up about potential early team news, there's been like absolutely none. It's actually been quite disappointing because I thought that we had to do quite well. Actually, there has been some early injury news here. Andre Mariner has been ruled out with an injury, so is replaced by Craig Paulson. So if you are an owner of Andre Mariner as your referee for FPL, he is no longer going to be playing. So that's just a little bit of news there. Like, I don't know. Do you guys think that benching Greenwood is worth it for bringing in Dallas for a hit? I just don't know. I just think that Greenwood could still get something out of this game, but I just think in terms of Dallas's high ceiling potential, he could get something out of this fixture. What about Willock? I just don't know if I favor that Fulham move. If you have Willock, play him, but if you're going to be bringing in an option, I don't know. Hey, mate, Dallas and Holding or Dallas and Lowton? Dallas and Lowton, 100%. David saying leave Greenwood. That is true. I might be a little bit scared of going for someone like a Dallas. Davey, more Holding up on your bench list. I don't know what you're talking about there. So, move Holding on my bench list. So yes, I can do that. I'm gonna keep Calvert-Lewin here. I just have a sneaky suspicion that he could do well. Locked in. So go Dallas. Some people are saying why not Aguero for a punt. So I think that I'm gonna be doing that move for Dallas. So I'm gonna be taking out Cody. I'm gonna be bringing in Dallas here for a -4 hit. And I'm going to lock in that move. So That is going to be confirmed there for you guys. And I'm going to be placing Greenwood on the bench and then swapping Greenwood to first place. So I'm going to be going with a 4-4-2. It's a little bit unconventional this week. If you guys can't afford that move, then don't do it. Just stick with Greenwood because I still think he could do well. But this is kind of just my impression. I want a little bit of Leeds coverage here. I think that Greenwood with that squad, if it is true, might not be the best kind of plan. I'm going for Harrison as a differential captain. Maybe I should go with Trent vice captain. I'm going to make Trent my vice captain here and save the team. So this is going to be the confirmed team, guys. So I have left it with about 2 minutes to go. So please do the moves if you have to do it. Greenwood or Wood, says Len Williams. I would play Wood in that case. Light Ray is saying good move. So I mean, if the Light is saying it's a good move, I have to go with it. I'm 0.2 off Trent. Davy helps, says Zaid. Go with Robertson. That's perfectly fine. Just go with Robbo. Shane saying, thanks for the advice. One last question. I have Tier A, Rudiger and Lowton for my defense. Should I get in Dallas for Shaw and replace Rudiger? Yes, I would do that. I'd be pretty confident in that move. Darius saying, start Willock or Son. I think I would go with Son. Deadline done. Good luck for the final game week. DCL or Smith Rowe? Dejan, that's like a really tough one to go by, but I probably would have said Smith Rowe just because I think he's been in good form. Jajorian Law saying shot for Alice. Thanks for dropping by, Jajorian Law. Hopefully you have a good end of the Sunday. And all of you guys, I hope that, thanks for dropping by. Hopefully I didn't leave the transfers too late. I think that I left it with enough time to spare here, and I tried to get through as many questions as possible. So, but what I will remind you guys of is that I'm going to be doing a review stream an hour after the games do end. But just follow me on Twitter or put your notifications on for YouTube, because then you'll get a notification when I do go live. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be shutting off from all team news now, shutting off from all fixtures, and I'm not going to be watching any of the games, and you'll get my live reaction at about an hour after the games end. So just take what time the games end and then take an hour on. But as I always say, thanks for joining this deadline stream on the Sunday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you guys are around the world. And hopefully the green arrows are in your favor. I'm going to be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.